Hello, Idealistas. Today is Wednesday and it's your Harry Potter, right, reading. So scavenger hunt and let's see if you guys are paying attention. Remember, you can write it down in the comment, and if it doesn't let you write it down in the comment, you can totally text me or you can put it on Google Classroom. You can totally do that. All right. So today on the scavenger hunt, Noah gave me this. Okay, I brought it home so that I can see it every morning before I go to school. And it has helped me tremendously. So it says, in case no one told you today, you are a great teacher. So thank you, Noah, so that you know that I have it at my house, okay? Scavenger hunt is the little beautiful thing that Noah gave me, okay? So let's go ahead and let's start, okay? Today we are going to read pages 238 and 244, okay, on Harry Potter. Let's go ahead and let's read it, all right? Should we put some music on? Absolutely, right? Let's see. It's gonna be this. All right. Wonder what the tasks are going to be, said Ron thoughtfully. You know, I bet we could do them, Harry. We've done dangerous stuff before. Not in front of a panel of judges, you haven't, said Fred. McGonagall says that champions get awarded points according to how well they've done the tasks. Who are the judges? Harry asked. Well, the heads of the participating schools are always on the panel, said Hermione, and everyone looked around at her, rather surprised, because all three of them were injured during the tournament of 1792. When a cockatrice, the champions, were supposed to be catching went on the rampage. She noticed them all looking at her and said, with her usual air of impatience, that nobody else had read all the books she had. Of course, this is Hermione, right? It's all in Hogwarts history, though. Of course, that book's not entirely reliable. A revised history of Hogwarts would be a more accurate title, or highly biased and selective history of Hogwarts. What are you on about? Said Ron, though Harry thought he knew what was coming. House elves, said Hermione, her eyes flashing. Not once in over 1,000 pages does Hogwarts a history mention that we are all colluding in the oppression of 100 slaves. Harry shook his head and applied himself to his scrambled eggs. His and Ron's lack of enthusiasm had done nothing whatsoever to curb Hermione's determination to pursue justice for house elves. True, both of them had paid 2 sickles for a SPEW badge, but they had only done it to keep her quiet. Their sickles had been wasted, however. If anything, they seemed to have made Hermione more vociferous. She had been badgering Harry and Ron ever since, first to wear the badges, then to persuade others to do the same. You do realize that your sheets are changed, your fires lit, your classroom cleaned, and your food cooked by a group of magical creatures who are unpaid and enslaved, she kept saying fiercely. Some people, like Neville, had paid up just to stop Hermione from glowering at them. A few seemed mildly interested in what she had to say. Ron now rolled his eyes at the ceiling, which was floating them all in an autumn sunlight, and Fred became extremely interested in his bacon. Both twins had refused to buy an SPEW badge. George, however, leaned in toward Hermione. Oh, I wonder what he's going to say. I think Hermione is going to get really upset. Listen, have you ever been down in the kitchen, Hermione? No, of course not, said Hermione curtly. I hardly think students are supposed to. Well, we have, said George, indicating Fred. Loads of time to nick food. And we've met them and they're happy. They think they've got the best job in the world. That's because they're uneducated and brainwashed. Hermione began hotly. Harry looked up at once and saw Hedwig soaring towards him. Hermione stopped talking abruptly. She and Ron watched Hedwig anxiously as she fluttered down onto Harry's shoulder, folded her wings, and held out her leg wearily. Harry pulled off Sirius replied and offered Hedwig his vacant ring. Harry read out Sirius' letter in a whisper to Ron and Hermione. Nice try, Harry. I'm back in the country and well hidden. So he's back. I want you to keep me posted on everything that's going on Hogwarts. Don't use Hedwig. Keep changing owls and don't worry about me. Just watch out for yourself. Don't forget what I said about your scar. Sirius. Do you want to read with us? Okay, so we have Isaac as a friend. He's going to be in our scavenger hunt, I guess. Why do you have to keep changing owls? Ron asked in a low voice. Hedwig attracts too much attention, said Hermione at once. She stands out, a snowy owl that keeps returning to whatever, sweetie, whatever he's hiding. Yes, you are reading. Good job. You love to read, huh? I mean, they're not native birds, are they? Harry rolled up the letter and slipped it inside his robes, wondering whether he felt more or less worried than before. Thanks, Hedwig said, stroking her. She hooted sleepy. That's too loud. Okay, if you want to play with it, please don't throw it. Thank you. Dipped her beaks briefly into his goblet of orange juice, then took off again, slightly desperate for a good long sleep in the hourly. There was a pleasant feeling of anticipation in the air that day. The heads of houses were ordering their students into lines. Weasley, straighten your hat, Professor McGonagall snapped at Ron. Miss Padley, take that ridiculous thing out of your hair. Poverty scowled and removed a large ornamental butterfly from the end of her plate. Follow me, please, said Professor McGonagall. First years in front, no pushing. They filed down the steps in line in front of the castle. It was a cold, clear evening. Dusk was falling and a pale, transparent-looking moon was already shining over the forbidden forest. Harry, standing between Ron and Hermione in the fourth row from the font, saw Dennis Privy, possibly shivering with an anticipation among the other first years. Nearly 6, said Ron, checking his watch and then staring down the drive that led to the front gates. How do you recall they coming? The train? I doubt it, said Hermione. How then? Broomstick? Harry suggested, looking up at the starry sky. I don't think so. Not from that far away. A porky? Ron suggested. Or they could appear it. Maybe you're allowed to do it under 17, wherever they come from. Where do you think that they were coming from? Let's see. I have to tell you, said Hermione impatiently. They scanned the darkening grounds excitedly, but nothing was moving. Everything was still, silent, and quite as usual. Harry was starting to feel cold. He wished they'd hurry up. Maybe the foreign students were preparing a dramatic entrance. He remembered what Mr. Weasley had said back at the campfire before the Quidditch World Cup. Always the same, we can't resist showing off when we get together. And then Dumbledore called out from the back row where he stood with the other teachers. Aha! Unless I am very much mistaken, the delegation from the Batoons approaches. Where? Said many students eagerly, all looking in different directions. There! Yelled a 6-year, pointing over the forest. Something large, much larger than a broomstick, or indeed 100 broomsticks, was hurtling across the deep blue sky toward the castle, growing larger all the time. It's a dragon! Shrieked one of the first years, losing her head completely. I would lose my head too if I were to see a dragon. Don't be stupid. It's a flying house, said Dennis Creevy. Denny's guess was closer as the gigantic black shape skimmed over the treetops of the forbidden forest and the light shining from the castle window. The front three rows of students drew backward as the carriage hurtled over lower, coming into land at a tremendous speed. Then, with an almighty crash that made Neville jump backwards onto a slithering fifth year's foot, the horse's hooves, larger than dinner plates, hit the ground. A second later, the carriage landed too, bouncing up on its vast wheels, while the golden horses tossed their enormous head and rolled large, fiery red eyes. Harry just had the time to see that the door of the carriage bore a coat of arms, two crossed golden ones, each emitting 3 stars before it opened. A boy in pale blue robes jumped down from the carriage, bent forward, fumbled for a moment with something on the carriage floor, and unfolded a set of golden steps. He sprang back respectfully. Then here he was, a shining high-heeled black shoe emerging from the inside of the carriage. The size of the carriage and of the horses was immediately explained. A few people gasped because a large woman he had ever seen in his life. Harry had only ever seen one person as large as this woman in his life, and that was Hagrid. He doubted whether there was an inch difference in their heights. Yet somehow, maybe simply because he was used to Hagrid, this woman, now at the foot of the step and looking around at the waiting, white-out crowd, seemed even more unnaturally large. As she stepped into the light floating from the entrance hall, she was revealed to have a handsome, olive-skinned face, large, black, liquid-looking eyes, and a rather beaky nose. Her hair was drawn back in a shining knob at the base of her neck. She was dressed from head to foot in black satin, and many magnificent opals gleamed at her throat and on her thick fingers. Now, these words are descriptive words. And these words are very important because right now I am visualizing this woman. Even though I already watched the movie, but if I haven't watched the movie, you can tell that in the movie there are little things that are not the same the way that they describe it in here. So that's why it's very important to use these descriptive words. Do you see that? Dumbledore started to clap. The students followed his lead, broke into applause too. Many of them standing in tiptoe, the better to look at this woman. They were just clapping and pretty happy. Her face relaxed into a gracious smile, and she walked forward toward Dumbledore, extending a glittering hand. Dumbledore, though told himself, had barely to bend to kiss it. "My dear Madame Maxime," he said, "welcome to Hogwarts." That's pretty cool, huh? "Dumbledore," said Madame Maxime in a deep voice, "I hope I found you well." "In excellent form, I thank you," said Dumbledore. "My pupils," said Madame Maxime, waving one of her enormous hands carelessly behind her. Harry, whose attention had been focused completely upon Madame Maxime, now noticed the about of a dozen boys and girls, all by the look of them, in their late teens, had emerged from the carriage and were now standing behind Madame Maxime. They were shivering, which was unsurprising, given that their robes seemed to be made of fine silk, and none of them were wearing cloaks. A few had wrapped scarves and shawls around their heads. From what Harry could see of them, they were standing in Madame Maxime's enormous shadow. They were staring up at Hogwarts with apprehensive looks on their faces. "Has Karkaroff arrived yet?" Madame Maxime asked. "He should be here in a moment," said Dumbledore. "Would you like to wait here and greet him, or would you prefer to step inside and warm up a trifle?" Okay, So remember, today for the scavenger hunt, I got the cute little present and gift that Noah gave me that it says, in case no one told you today, you're a great teacher. Okay. I really hope that you guys learned a lot. Isaac was here with me while I was reading. So I really hope that you guys learn a lot. All right. These were pages 238 through 244. See ya.